Picture this. A family of 5 piles into a station wagon with no seatbelts, no GPS, no air conditioning, and somehow they're about to drive 2,000 miles for vacation. Dad is smoking behind the wheel. Mom has a paper map spread across her lap. The kids are bouncing around the back seat without even sitting down. And somehow everyone called this relaxing. But that's only the beginning. The truth is, family vacations in the 1960s were full of strange traditions, unbelievable risks, and forgotten customs that would shock most travelers today. Let's take a trip back in time to discover 10 weird facts about 1960s family vacations you probably never knew. 1. Kids rode anywhere except their seats. If you traveled with your family in the 1960s, chances are you didn't actually stay in your seat. Children often stretched out in the cargo area of station wagons, built pillow forts in the back, or even slept across the rear window shelf during long road trips. Some wagons came with rear-facing third-row seats that looked directly at the cars behind them. Seatbelt laws barely existed, and many cars didn't even include belts for every passenger. Parents worried more about keeping children entertained than keeping them restrained. Looking back today, it's almost unbelievable. Yet for millions of American families, this was completely normal. 2. Motels had magic fingers beds. Stopping for the night wasn't just about getting some sleep. Many roadside motels offered something called magic fingers. For just a quarter, guests could slide a coin into a small machine attached beneath the bed. Suddenly, the mattress began vibrating for about 15 minutes. Hotels advertised it as relaxing, therapeutic, and luxurious. Kids absolutely loved it. Parents often found themselves spending extra quarters just to keep the children entertained before bedtime. Today it sounds like something from a comedy movie, but in the 1960s, vibrating motel beds were considered a modern luxury. 3. Every road trip had a cooler full of homemade food. Fast food restaurants were nowhere near as common as they are today. Instead of stopping every few hours for burgers, families packed enormous coolers before leaving home. Inside were fried chicken, ham sandwiches wrapped in wax paper, potato salad, hard-boiled eggs, cookies, and plenty of homemade lemonade. Many families would simply pull over at a roadside picnic table instead of eating in restaurants. Highways across America were filled with scenic picnic areas specifically designed for travelers. Vacation wasn't just about reaching the destination. The meal beside the highway became part of the adventure itself. 4. Road maps were practically family treasures. Forget smartphones, forget satellite navigation. Even getting lost was part of the vacation experience. Families depended entirely on massive paper road maps from companies like Standard Oil, Texaco, and AAA. Gas stations happily gave them away for free. The navigator, usually Mom, had the impossible job of unfolding the giant map inside a moving car. Once opened, folding it back correctly was nearly impossible. Arguments over missed exits, wrong turns, and confusing highways became part of nearly every family trip. Sometimes getting lost even led to discovering unexpected roadside attractions. 5. Roadside attractions were stranger than theme parks. Long before giant amusement parks dominated family vacations, America was filled with wonderfully bizarre roadside attractions. Families stopped to see giant dinosaurs made of concrete. They explored mysterious caves, haunted houses, giant balls of twine, and oversized statues of everything imaginable. Colorful billboards stretched for miles, tempting drivers with promises of the world's largest, something just ahead. Sometimes the attraction lasted only 10 minutes, but it gave everyone a chance to stretch their legs and create memories. Half the fun wasn't reaching the destination. It was stopping at every strange place along the way. 6. Vacation photos took weeks to see. Imagine returning home from your vacation without having any idea if your pictures even turned out. Families carried film cameras loaded with rolls containing only 12, 24, or 36 photos. Every picture mattered. There were no previews, no deleting blurry shots, no taking 20 versions of the same family portrait. After the trip, the film had to be mailed or dropped off for developing. Sometimes weeks passed before anyone saw the vacation pictures. And if someone accidentally covered the lens or forgot the flash, those memories were gone forever. 7. Air travel was surprisingly elegant. Flying wasn't yet common for average families, but those who could afford it experienced something very different from today's airports. Passengers dressed in suits, dresses, and polished shoes. Children often wore their Sunday best. Airlines served full hot meals using real silverware and china dishes. Flight attendants carved roast beef and poured drinks into actual glass cups. Security was incredibly relaxed. Family members could walk passengers right to the boarding gate and wave goodbye from only a few feet away. Flying felt less like public transportation and more like attending a formal event. 8. Campgrounds were exploding in popularity. Not every family stayed in hotels. Camping became one of the biggest vacation trends of the decade. National parks filled with tents, campers, and newly popular travel trailers. For many children, roasting marshmallows over a campfire became the highlight of summer. Parents loved camping because it was affordable during the post-war baby boom. The interstate highway system made reaching parks easier than ever before. Families escaped crowded cities for forests, lakes, and mountains. For countless Americans, these camping trips became lifelong traditions passed down through generations. 9. Souvenirs filled entire living rooms. Vacation souvenirs in the 1960s weren't subtle. Families proudly displayed them everywhere. Decorative plates covered walls. Snow globes lined shelves. Pennants from every state hung in bedrooms. Ashtrays, mugs, postcards, wooden signs, and tiny license plates became proof that a family had actually traveled somewhere. Some households even dedicated entire cabinets to vacation keepsakes. Looking around someone's living room often told the story of every road trip they'd ever taken. Today, most vacation memories live on phones. Back then, they decorated the house. 10. The drive was the vacation. Perhaps the biggest difference of all, families weren't obsessed with getting somewhere quickly. The journey itself was considered part of the fun. Before interstate highways bypassed small towns, travelers drove directly through countless communities. They stopped at local diners. They visited family-owned gas stations. Kids bought candy from roadside stores. Every town had its own personality. Vacations often took longer because nobody minded making frequent stops. There was less rushing and far more exploring. In many ways, Americans weren't simply traveling across the country. They were experiencing it one small town at a time. Conclusion. 11 o'clock. Looking back, family vacations in the 1960s seem almost impossible by today's standards. Children climbed freely around moving cars. Paper maps ruled the highways. Film cameras captured precious moments one frame at a time. Roadside attractions turned ordinary highways into unforgettable adventures. And somehow, without smartphones, streaming services, or GPS, millions of families created memories that lasted a lifetime. Maybe the vacations weren't perfect. Cars broke down. Kids argued. Parents got lost. But those unexpected moments often became the stories families remembered most. Because in the 1960s, vacations weren't measured by how fast you arrived. They were measured by the experiences you shared along the way. If this trip back through America's past brought back memories or taught you something new, be sure to like the video, subscribe to American Time Capsule, and let us know in the comments. Which 1960s vacation tradition do you wish would make a comeback today? Until next time, thanks for traveling back in time with us.